check.
Ricker, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, everybody. This is Stabby Time. We are a horror podcast that usually reviews movies, but we also talk to creators. And today we wanted to talk about the horror community. And what better to bring up some horror podcasters to talk about this. So I'm going to actually let you guys introduce yourself, let everyone know about your shows, what you do. We're going to start off with Bob from Bob After Dark.
Thank you. Oh, hey there, everyone. My name's Bob from Bob After Dark. I host a paranormal show talking about legends, lore, and supernatural things that go bump in the night, lights in the sky, weird cryptid stories. I'm like those guys you see on TV, except I have a sense of humor. So that's me in a nutshell.
And the other half of Sledgehammer Horror. Here's the other half.
I am Ken Sledge, the other half of Sledgehammer Horror. You can find us on YouTube at Sledgehammer Horror. We bring on celebrities and podcasters, musicians, and talk to them about the first horror movie they watched, what got them started in horror, and a lot of other things as well. Reviews, all things horror. So find that on YouTube at Sledgehammer Horror.
I'm a writer, producer, director with Angry Mule Films. We make B horror movies, B horror comedies. We're most well known for Killer Pinata and Bride of Killer Pinata, which just recently came out. I do not have a podcast, but you can follow us on social media, Angry Mule Films. We update our Instagram all the time.
A few questions to basically show everyone what is special about this community. I mean, this is the horror community. We're full of creatives. We're full of the outsiders, you know what I mean? And we all created a home for each other. And I feel like that actually makes us better because we show more love. More love. So my first question to you guys, we're gonna answer, I'm gonna do a question, then we'll start off with Bob and then work our way down. So, testing. What was, it left me for a minute. What was the movie or life moment that opened the doors to you and this community?
Alright, so there's a little unknown show in like the 80s and 90s called Unsolved Mysteries. Maybe you've heard of it. That got me into everything spooky in the entire world. There was one particular, like I watched, I don't know if you guys know what Unsolved Mysteries is, but it's, long story short, it's like a reenactment true crime show, but occasionally you get a really cool paranormal story. And the one always sticks out to me is the Resurrection Mary episode because I'm from Chicago, so it's like, oh look, a ghost story there. And then 30 years later, here I am content creating. I don't know, is that a good answer?
Yes, it is good, it's a great answer.
So I was probably 8 years old and I watched Pet Sematary for the first time and it scared the living shit out of me. Zelda, she is what nightmares are made of, and I was like, I like that feeling. I want more of that, and that's when my love for horror started, so yeah.
My love for horror started with a jump scare that was not in a horror movie, and I still think it is the scariest jump scare of all time, and that is Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Scared the hell out of me, and then I went from that to watching House, 1986. That was my first real horror movie, and then from there on it just went crazy with all the horror stuff. But the stuff that I watched before horror, like Ghostbusters 2, when Janosz reaches out and grabs Oscar off the balcony when he's on the bike. That was another one that scared the hell out of me. So those would be the main ones. Would be Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure and grabbing Janosz off of the balcony in Ghostbusters 2.
We never looked at claymations the same after that. Large Marge!
And just the eyes shooting out. It's beautiful stop motion. It's some of the most beautiful stop motion.
Like this?
My introduction introduction to horror was actually, this is funny. So back in the day, when there was just like ABC, CBS, all that, every Halloween on the spooky seasons, they would show TV edits of horror films. And I didn't know that my mom was switching between the channels. And so I confused The Thing and The Omen. I thought they were the same film. And so I was super confused watching both of them because I was like, no, they're in the Arctic, but then a nanny gets pushed off the stairs.
It was the Thoman.
Yeah, it was a Thoman. It's wonderful. So that was my first thing. I thought horror was really cool, but in terms of community, I actually didn't get connected to a horror community until much later. It was after I started making movies. Oh, I gotta go closer. I'm so sorry. Yeah, thank you guys. Just push it up. I get nervous. There we go. It was later in life that I got connected with the horror community because I got invited. There's a store here called Bucket of Blood Books and Records. They used to do double screenings of horror films, and I had a really hard time connecting with the horror community, but we'd all get together every month and see these movies, and suddenly I had a lot of friends that loved these films, and it was wonderful. So.
That's awesome. I blame my dad, because since I was 5, I didn't do well in sports, even though he very much tried. But when it came to horror movies, that was all that we had in common. And then it just kind of as soon as I watched a horror movie, I go, oh, it's okay to be weird. And it's okay to like these creepy things. And then it just grew my love. And I create things that's horror, and it's better than when I was a little girl, I dressed up like a groundhog for Groundhog's Day. If any time my parents should have stopped me, that would have been the day. Let's not do that.
Fun fact, that actually just happened this year. Liz is still dressing like a groundhog.
Yeah, I'm really trying to be a furry, but it was construction paper, so it was bad. It was bad. So my next these are hard-hitting questions. Are you guys ready? What do you think makes the horror community special? So what makes us different from any other community? Even though we're obviously the best, but what makes us special and the best?
Still starting.
I think it's the concept that we're not like everybody else. And I feel that we were all really weird kids. And then us weird kids grew up to be weird adults. And the weird adults we have to be friends with each other, because if we're not friends with each other, nobody wants to be friends with us.
Very true.
I use that to my advantage. I'm listen, I like horror, so you have to like me now.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm on this panel? It's because I just made Liz be friends with me.
I really had no choice. I don't even know how this happened.
So I agree. I was a weird kid that liked horror as a young child, and until Scream came out, Scream made horror cool. Before that, horror was not cool when I was a kid. And oh, sorry, you can't hear me. Anyways, yeah. So Scream definitely made horror cool, and so I wanted those friends, and finally I was like, you guys like horror too? All right, let's be friends. But I just feel like people that love horror, you're like, oh, you love this scary stuff, but they're the kindest people in the entire world and would do anything for you. So
yeah,
I think the horror community is the best.
My answer to that is because we have people that are willing to do stuff like this right here.
There we go.
You see, this is why this is the best community in the world, because people will take the time to dress up like this. They'll take hours and hours and hours, even though other people look at, wow, that stuff is so scary and those people are so disgusting, when really horror fans and horror people are just the kindest, sweetest, most generous people you could ever hope to meet. And I feel blessed every time we do a convention or every time we put on an episode and someone's like, hey, it really means a lot to watch you guys and hear how inclusive you guys are. 'Cause that's another thing about the horror community is we're all weird. And, that inclusivity just comes along with it. It doesn't matter your sexual orientation, your race, your creed, your religion. The minute that you're like, I like horror, I'm like, hey, welcome to prime time. You know, like it's just something that we all agree on, and nothing else matters.
to the
when
horror
you're a horror
world.
fan. Yeah. I had to drop a Freddy line for you, so that's why I think horror is so special to us.
Yeah, I agree with everything said here. Also, there's been this really interesting thing that I've noticed in the last couple of years, particularly online and in horror forums and stuff, which is checking in on each other. There's a lot of honesty when people are going through something in the horror community. You'll see it all the time, the Joe Bob circle, anywhere you go where people are saying, listen man, I'm going through something like rough and it sucks. And there's a million people that are like, I got you, I totally understand, you're not alone. And I don't know that I've seen that. Maybe I'm not looking, but I have not seen that anywhere else. And that's
Yeah, no. And that actually is perfect, because then this question fits into that, because is there any stories you have about people that you've met in this community that has like impact you in a positive way?
There we go. Liz is trying to cut me out here, guys. You see this? Mute. I have one that I never met, and it's happening right now on, I don't know if you're aware what TikTok is. No.
What's that?
There's a horror creator who has terminal cancer right now, and he doesn't have a lot of time left. The horror talk community got together and raised a ton of money to make sure he got put in a comfortable hospice. Robert Englund himself sat down and, I'm getting a little teary-eyed. He sat down and made a video for the guy as Freddy Krueger and like talked to him and said, hey, you know, when it's time for you to dream, I promise I won't come visit you. And it's been the most heart-touching thing I've seen, because I follow it. You know, I'm a part of I'm a horror adjacent, but you know, I'm obviously still involved in the entire world to see. So that's happening literally right now. It's funny you bring that up.
Are they still doing donations?
I think he passed.
Oh, okay. So no. All right. Yeah.
Well, that was really sad.
Oh, so now you.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
I know. So on Sledgehammer Horror, every week we do like a live, and we have this community that comes out and just loves to talk to us about horror, and like just say you're tired or you're having an off day. Like after the live, they're messaging me like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like, and you know, my mom didn't even notice that. Like these people are, and it's just like it just warms your heart. Like these people really care. They're like your family. So. Yes.
Ashley and I are very, very big on mental health, so we always make it very well known, whether it's through our My First Horror Movie episodes, our Didn't See That Coming, our reviews, our live episodes, that, you know, on social media, our DMs are always open. Sometimes it is easier to talk to a stranger. You feel like your family, your friends are going to judge you, and they're going to look at you in a different light. But if you can reach out to somebody that you know online, that you can have a real conversation with without them judging you, sometimes it's easier that way. And we've had that happen a lot. And the people in this community, obviously every tree gives a couple bad apples. You know, that always happens. Overall, the horror community is just, they've felt it. They've felt that pressure that feels like there's somebody sitting on their chest and they can't breathe and they have no one to talk to about it. So when they feel that someone else is going through that, they want to do whatever they can to make sure that person's comfortable and not feeling like that. So what better way than let's watch a movie about a guy getting his eyes ripped out?
Yeah.
Let's do that. That'll make you feel
The
better.
gorier, the
Yeah.
better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Life could be worse. You could have your intestines hanging, and like you could be, I don't know.
You could have your face ripped off.
Yeah,
by,
it could be
by a
someone's
pinata.
dinner.
I mean, a pinata could rip your face off.
Yeah.
I mean, shameless plug. Go watch Killer Pinata, Bride of Killer Pinata tonight, please.
I'm just, you know, not being in the podcast world, seeing how you guys universally lift each other up, and my friendship with you guys has really exposed me to this. That you do so many collaborations and you're always just kind of pushing each other forward, and it's such a nice space to be where you realize like, oh, I'm not in competition with you, we're all celebrating the same thing here. We have different shows, you guys jump on each other's shows, it's awesome. So nice job.
Yeah. I firmly believe that they are running a secret cult, Sledgehammer Horror, because literally,
Shut the fuck
help me.
Blink twice if you.
Help me. But for real, because honestly, like, I've had guests on my show because of you guys. I'm you today. But I mean, I feel we've known each other, you know? It's a good fit.
We've worked on the channel alone with over 1,000 different people, whether
Yeah.
it's other podcasters, celebrities, musicians, directors, writers, and we love to work with people. Like Ashley was saying, we do a live every week. We usually have 2 to 3 guests on the live with us at a time so we can promote their channel and try to help out as many people as we can. That's what this community is supposed to be about. You're supposed to be loving and helpful. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're succeeding, I'm succeeding. We're spreading
Yeah.
the love of horror to people other than just in the month of October. So
Exactly.
let's continue to do that.